And welcome to Tom Montydoodoo and the Crocodile crew.
On FBI Radio, 94.5 FM in Sydney, we've got Robbie in the studio.
Tom is here.
And
Jordan is as well.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We've got an okay show coming up. Got a couple of questions for you that would like you to text in on the number 0409945945. How do we scam Maccas? And also, what song would you like to play in a concert if there was a comet coming towards you and the apocalypse was impending?
And also, quick summary of how questions work, because last week we got a lot of people texting in with answers to questions we did not ask, so we're just going to do a quick run through of how this works. So, Robbie, for instance, if I were to ask you, New Zealand, hate or rate?
Rate.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's just that simple, folks.
So then you text in with the word rate or hate, depending on what you feel about it.
Because that's what we asked. You don't text in when we're talking about play school. Can you start playing some more Pond again? You know, we're not talking about that at the moment. So there's a time and a place for that. So that's every other week on this radio program, except for the weeks when we were told not to do it anymore. So we're not doing it, okay?
Get it through your head. So we're doing how to scam McDonald's. So we came to think about this because we remembered a story of Robbie's when we were coming home from a night out on the town, and we went to Gordon McDonald's, which is an all-night McDonald's.
The most bland-sounding suburb in Sydney.
Yeah.
And if you live there, awfully sorry.
Gordon.
Especially, imagine if your name was Gordon living in Gordon.
And Robbie was
Text in if that
is the case. Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of prank texts. So it's an honour system. Just do it. We're not going to check it up, but be honest about this.
Yeah, and if you know Robbie, he's quite tight with his money. Would that be fair to say, Robbie?
I'd say smart.
Smart with your money.
I'd say he doesn't have money.
All is correct, I think. So he goes to the counter at McDonald's and just asks the guy behind the counter, "Can I have some hot chips for free, please?" And he says, "You know what? Yeah, you can have all the chips you want." And he just...
In fact, even said something a little more salty than that. Said, "Yeah, you can have all the chips. I don't give a F."
And fills up a whole takeaway bag full of newly cooked chips and just gives them to Robbie. Very
We're talking
salty.
about one of those takeaway bags as well. The classic brown paper bag that they've had around since the 70s that the original Ronald McDonald, I think, used to wear as a crown on his head. Terrifying.
A bucket load of fries. And it was kind of counted on you, I remember though, Robbie, because there's so many chips, it eliminates the value of the chip. You know, if you have too many, you get sick of chips.
Much like when Homer Simpson goes to hell and the guy goes, "So, you like donuts, eh? Well, eat all the donuts in the world."
Yeah, exactly like that.
Homer Simpson did love it, and I'm assuming also that Robbie did love it at the end of it, albeit was sick because it's not a cartoon, but he would go back for more the next day.
I did enjoy it, and and I actually remember now the reason that I got that was because the manager there I used to work with at McDonald's. I used to have a job at McDonald's, and
you did too, yeah.
Yeah, and I used to work with a guy, so we were mates. And he's like, "Hey, dude, I'll hook you up." So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that did not progress this particular call-in because we are asking if you are able to scam McDonald's.
Well,
and really,
right. that's
a bureaucratic favour.
No, that's a thing. Get a job at McDonald's, become friends with them, and then maybe later you will run across them again if you find them. And
reap the rewards.
Reap the rewards of that friendship. Yeah.
I always assumed in my mind it's because you look like such a dishevelled mop man that they took pity on you, thought you were homeless, gave you some chips.
No.
Okay. Again, do not eat in front of the microphone, Robbie. In fact, give me the sandwich.
No, 1 second. No. Wait. So we heard before.
No, we're not continuing.
All right, I'll put it.
All right, put it away. So, what are your ideas? How have you scammed McDonald's? And this week, we're going to go out and put it into practice and see if we can do... So, things like Greta's example of getting something and then saying, "Oh, you never gave me that." And they, even if they know that full well they did give you the sweet and sour sauce,
the customer's always right.
Yeah, they have
McDonald's
to give you another
lives
one.
by that.
Even if
it's
they can
almost as
see
if,
it.
like when vampires cannot come into your house without you giving them permission. It's this hard and fast supernatural rule, it appears, at McDonald's. I remember doing that once, going, "I only got 5 nuggets." I actually got 6, and I heard the guy who was 15 to the manager saying, I swear I gave that guy 6. And the manager was going, just don't worry about it. Just give him the extra note.
We've got one here. Says, go through the line and pretend you forgot to order. Pick up the person behind you's food.
Ah.
So just
okay,
steal.
that's just theft.
Well, I guess that's what we're asking for, right?
It is, I guess. Yeah,
we're asking you to steal from the man, not a man.
Be creative about it.
Okay, we've got one here. Macca scam. Shit in a no-brand pizza box, take it in store and demand fair compensation for suffering such an abomination. On the downside, you'd be a filthy pig man. Swings and roundabouts, I guess. I think this person's listened to the podcast, I think.
Because that is a story of mine. Once, back when we were reckless and young, I think it was 2 years ago. Anyway, I was with my friend Torbs, who people might know from the Yilmaz saga on the Friendlyjordies. Anytime
anyway,
I can just plug it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Check it out.
Friendlyjordies.
Subscribe.
So we walked in to Pizza Hut with a pizza box, but it was one of those pizza boxes with the classic OK Italiano guy on the front, just says pizza on it. We cheaply wrote in very small text, Hut. Walked in with a human feces, demanding our money back. And the guy's response, well, we had this very professional camera because our friend's dad is a documentary maker, so it looks like a legit Channel 7 camera, minus the Channel 7 side on it. He looks at the camera, looks at the pizza box, realises he's kind of stumped in this situation, and then stammers out, "It's not mine."
What, the poo?
Yes.
It's not even the same shop's box.
No. But it just seemed like he was. It seemed like he was caught on a current affair.
Had to defend himself.
You would panic. It would have been the first incremental shady thought that popped out of his mind in a moment of sheer panic.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had an idea with Macca's Monopoly to just... Like, I really feel as though the technology at the actual McDonald's isn't good enough to avoid fraud. Like, why wouldn't you
What makes you think that? It is probably one of the top 10 most profitable corporations on earth.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you, say, printed out 1,000 of those free Sunday Monopoly things on, like, a laminate, I bet you could use them and they'd just be like, yeah, it looks about right, and then just claim Sundays all the time.
See, this is what I love about community radio, folks. We are literally discussing how to steal from a shop.
We're not saying to do it.
In the middle of the day.
It's a fun exercise, yeah.
Just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
It really seems like the Liberal Party's data retention laws are in existence everywhere except for FBI. Otherwise, we would have been shut down, surely. Even if this was a private conversation between two friends on Facebook.
All right, so that's our first question we're wanting answers to.
Yeah.
So once again, 0409 945 945, text in. The second question is called Play It Again, Sam, where imagine you are in a concert at like some kind of stadium festival-sized arena.
You plus 50,000 others. The best night of your life.
Yeah, and there's a huge meteor crashing towards the Earth. This was a hypothetical getting asked around on Facebook that I saw. If a huge meteor was crashing towards the Earth and you could choose one band to play one song to die to, what would it be?
So we're really looking for that moment where even the artist that you're at that concert looks up, realises, I'm that symphony orchestra on Titanic. I need to play these guys out. I need to give them my A game. What concert would you want to be at? And we're looking for not actually the song that you would like to hear most before dying. We're looking for the pretty much just the most hilarious concert you could possibly be at before the world ends.
Yeah.
Okay.
And is that different to what your favourite song is? So, for example, my one is I hate the Foo Fighters with a passion.
Robbie, play this, because I honestly think this would be tremendous, and I would not be sad at all about the impending doom of the entire Earth if this song was played.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be an R at that concert. Everywhere else would be freaking out, except for in the ANZ stadium where everyone's going, yeah!
Yeah, there's too much energy to be scared. Just partying down while that meteor is hurtling towards you.
And Tom has a hate-on an absolute hate on for the Foo.
I've seen them live.
We saw them at the same stadium, actually, and they really amped up their encore bit. Like, they went back and they had the big screens, and they're like, oh, should we come out? Should we do 2 songs? And everyone's like, yeah! And then they put up, 3, and then everyone, yeah!
And they kept doing it.
They went up to 6, I think.
6 songs.
Yeah.
And it is one of my most hated things where a concert ends like half an hour before the scheduled time, and then it's pretty much a 60-40 split of 60% is concert and 40% is encore.
Yeah.
And it was just so dumb. Like, oh, they're so nice. They did 6 songs for their encore. No, it was just scheduled for them to pretend to finish.
To be fair, it's kind of smart, though. Like, at least they're sort of... Yeah.
It's just tricky.
So you're not actually against their music. You were there as a fan of the Foo for their music, but you hate their showmanship. That's what you're telling me.
I was a fan.
You're like
the
a
Foo.
fan of the Denver Broncos when one of them does a backflip, and you're like, oh, well, this makes me feel like supporting the Giants.
No, I was a fan when I was like 12. And then my mum remembered this and then bought me a ticket for my birthday years later when I was no longer a fan of the Foo. All I knew was The Best of You. That's the only song I knew of theirs. But in saying that, I would love to die to the Foo Fighters.
The inner 12-year-old suddenly lunges out and he realises that being a kid's what it's all about.
Yeah. So what's your example, Robbie?
I'll do Jordan's now if you want.
Sure. But this one, I believe... isn't as hilarious. It's more extremely demonic. Imagine if the world was going to end and this song's playing, and you're at this concert.
Gangnam Style.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Gangnam Style.
Wow.
Especially, I think also he might possess the powers because think about it. It's a South Korean fat man that became the world's greatest one-hit wonder, undisputed, 2.5 billion hits on YouTube. He might possess the powers. Not to reverse the comet, but just at the part where it goes, just see the comet go back and forth a little bit at that point, and then just hurtle down at the, sexy lady.
You could imagine it being like quite a nice transition to hell. Like, you could imagine the waiting line to get into hell would be like to keep people from getting bored. You'd have Psy playing them.
And much like in the later months of 2012 when that song was released, hell is just that song being played over and over again for all eternity.
On repeat. Yeah. That is a
I
hellish
remember
thought.
thinking that after about the 5th month of Gangnam Style. This isn't going to end, is it?
It's not 2.5 billion views and counting.
2.5 billion.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. We've got a lot of texts here. Nowra boys, people are saying.
Fans of last week's show where we started our, and we will be discussing this later on in the show, the worst song in Sydney / Greater New South Wales, because we just, obviously Nowra is not in Sydney. But if you do have a song that you think is particularly terrible produced by somebody around this region, please text in, give us the name of it. We're going to look it up because we're looking for the absolute worst, and we're going to give them a full hour's play at the end of the month.
And the first nomination was Nowra Boys. So, I reckon that'd be a good one. What's yours, Robbie?
That's why it ties in,
my one is this. Consider it. So, Comet heading towards your concert.
Oh, my God.
Come on.
It's demonic. It's more demonic than Gangnam Style. At least Gangnam Style makes you feel like doing the horse ride dance. Yeah. What does that make you feel like doing?
It puts makes your mind in such a weird place.
It just makes you want to jump on like a merry-go-round or something.
Yeah. That's what we say.
Who are they, though? They're just those aliens in Star Wars Episode 4, aren't they? That would be the band concert that you would be at, and strangely, for some reason, there's 60,000 adoring fans for these monstrous aliens.
Yeah, it's just not distracting enough. It's a thing, you wouldn't be able to take your eyes off the comet. You want to be able to dance and be looking at, like, the mosh or something, like, while the comet is, like, burning everyone to death before it impacts.
All right, well, either that or this, then.
And that's what we'll be playing for the first song of the Montydoodoo Crocodile Crew experience, hopefully.
Do you want to play it?
I really do.
Okay.
Let's just hope that the music director doesn't storm in here and turn it off.
Okay, let's play it. This is The Less I Know The Better by your boys Tame Impala. I can't believe we got through that, but that was The Less I Know The Better by Tame Impala on FBI Radio 94.5 FM. You boys, Jordan, Tom and Robbie in the studio. We've got a bunch of texts coming in now, which is great to see. The number's 0409945945 pertaining to how do you scam McDonald's and what song would you like to play us out in an apocalypse?
Also, a very scary moment in between that in the song break because an FBI producer did actually come in here. We all stopped with bated breath about halfway through the Tame Impala song and she goes, "Have you guys seen my phone?"
Yeah. Oh, no, we haven't.
Anyway, here's a song suggestion we had for the end of the world. Jennifer Lopez, Let's Get Loud.
Okay, you should have done this.
I couldn't do it actually while the song was playing.
But we all know the moment.
We know the song. And here's the other one.
Which he also has not queued up, but nonetheless will play.
Yeah, no.
This would be quite a good one, I think.
Yeah.
This is Kanye West, Black Skin.
Yeah.
It's just, so fast-paced. Really quick tempo, I think, is so distracting. Just dance till you die.
Very good.
Kanye West, a true professional. Not a fan of his music, but again, like the Dave
Doesn't
Grohl,
matter,
you actually want a douchebag playing you out.
Yeah.
It seems to be the rule that we're learning here.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to do inane nostalgia with hipsters on the radio. So we did a segment last week where we talked about play school and which window you would like to go through, and the board lit up.
It melted. We melted the computing system at FBI with all the hipsters that listen to this station texting in saying that, I like the square one.
So we're going to do a similar thing to that. We're trying to work out what segment here would just, again, melt the board. So
we've sort of found it with the Maccas in the song. Like, people are just going bananas.
But we're really here. We're trawling the predictable depths of hipster conversation.
Yeah.
So what was your example, Jordan? What do you think would just light the board on fire?
I reckon if you talk to a hipster, because there seems to be this unwritten rule in hipster conversation that you have to talk about nostalgic moments from when you were a child before you knew what was and what wasn't PC. They just like talking about that innocent moment.
Yeah.
They're a lot like... Hipsters just seem to be a young Hayao Miyazaki in a lot of ways.
I think it's just a safety thing where they've got the backup of saying like, "Hey man, I was just a kid. I didn't know what was cool back then." So like you can be like, "Yeah, Digimon man, I loved it." Doesn't matter if it's cool or not. Like whatever they think about it, doesn't matter. It wasn't me. It was me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Very easy to own what you did as a 12-year-old because again, this was the same period in your life where you would pee your pants.
Yeah.
You can't be held responsible for what you thought back then.
Yeah.
So the one that I think will melt the boards. What do you think about this, guys? Do you remember Scholastic catalogues and being so excited, thinking like it was always on a Friday and it was about 10 a.m. and they'd say, "Hey, instead of like reading book club," oddly, now that I think about it, the teacher was acting like one of those Amway housewives that walks around to the other housewife friends going, "I tell you, Tupperware changes your life."
Yeah. It's kind of weird how they're selling. Like, what's Scholastic's deal? Why are they able to do this? Go into these like very impressionable minds in a classroom environment and say like, "Hey, have you thought about buying this computer game or this very simple book?"
And it was like the 1998 version of when a new iPhone comes out. Everybody was ecstatic about this as well.
Yeah.
It was it was shooting fish in a barrel.
Quite amazing, actually, like getting people that interested in reading. It's just...
Okay, look, I'm going to have to stop you there. We've got a couple in here, all in caps. Yes, I remember Scholastic Book Club magazines.
That's what we're looking for.
That's exactly what we want.
Exactly the response
It's
we're
just
looking
this
for.
trigger. They just, hipsters lose it. Nostalgia.
So, guys, what did you get from the Scholastic catalogue? That's the next thing that we want you to text in.
Del Toro Quest.
Did you?
Was that part of it?
Yeah, probably
It was.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
That's Scholastic.
Yeah, there you go. Fun monsters, fun adventures.
Yeah, I got one of those, like, believe it or not things where you learn about, like, did you know JFK got shot and then the killer ran to a cinema, and Lincoln got shot in a cinema and ran to a book depository? Like how,
I didn't know that.
Weird coincidences in history.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember loving that from Scholastic.
That's weird that you guys have pretty much maintained that same pattern of reading throughout your lives, minus the fact that Tom doesn't read at all.
Audiobooks, I do.
Yes, audiobooks, watching things on YouTube, just someone else do the work is Tom's motto for life.
It's passive learning.
Yes. The way a house cat would learn if they were at all interested in education apart from pats.
What did you get, Jordan?
Yeah.
So I got a lot of Goosebumps.
Yep.
Huge amounts of that. The other one that I always remember getting was the Seriously Weird, which was a much less factual, albeit pretending to be factual collection of stories about, say, the green children of the Middle Ages, where this king found a couple of children that now they're trying to pose as, were they a couple of aliens? No, they just had some weird skin disease, probably.
So it's kind of like Ripley's Believe It or Not stuff.
Sort of, but Ripley's Believe It or Not usually has, can you imagine that there's like a man that's as tall as most people's shins? Actually, yeah, there's no believe it or not there. I just believe that.
So Seriously Weird was like, I don't believe this. It was the too hard to believe.
But when you're when you're in year 4, yeah, no, I believe.
Yeah.
Definitely. There was a story about when crows started pecking at a spaceship's engine, so it couldn't launch for 2 weeks.
A spaceship. Oh, like a rocket.
Space shuttle, sorry. We are not in 2050 yet. When I assume we will have spaceships. We're still in space shuttle mode.
The Green Twins spaceship, a crow was pecking away at it.
And then it had the title heading was, Is Mother Nature Fighting Back?
Did you guys ever get those alien ones? There were
Stretchy aliens?
Oh, just like alien abduction stories.
Oh, definitely. Always into that.
Yeah.
So scary, right?
Guy at Area 51 got 3rd-degree burns from a ray gun. Explain that. Like, there is so many questions first up.
What the hell?
But so how we go with text? Do the hipsters love it?
Look, it's safe to say you guys are loving this. We've got lots of caps here. We've got Michael Jordan, greatest b-baller ever. Somebody got. They're saying...
What, they got that from Scholastic?
Somebody got a spy kit once. You know, we've just got lots of inane things here that people got. So keep sending those in. The number's 0409 945 945.
The person that texted in with the spy kit was pretty much the only function of it that you could write something in candle wax on a piece of paper. You could get these things at Home Depot. Just a trip to Coles and Home Depot would have done the same thing. Nonetheless, you were willing to wait half a month to get invisible ink.
Yeah, invisible ink. It's quite impressive, isn't it?
Really not a tool that I think spies actually use. I would be very disappointed if we're spending around $5 billion a year on ASIO and they're using candle wax to write each other messages. It's just a bunch of lemons and stockpile more candles in there than your average nut who thinks the world is going to end and has one of those bomb shelters in the middle of the woods.
How does invisible ink work? You write it, it disappears. Does it come back? Or you write it, the person reads it, and then it will disappear?
You squeeze... There's something to do with lemon juice in it, but that's a matter for this guy to come in and text with us, because really, at this point, this is just a hypothesis.
All right, so we're going to go to a song and let us know other inane hipster ideas.
And also just a little bit of sizzle for what's coming up after this great song, might I say. We've got A Scary Story, as brought to you by Jordan from one of our friends, Alicia. And it's going to be... You're going to look forward to that. Ghost stories are great on the radio.
If you don't like being spooked, turn down your radio. Don't switch it. We've been told to stop telling people to switch the radio station.
Yeah, because if it's turned down or not, you're still listening to it, as far as metrics are worried.
All right, so this is the song Land Cruisin', and it's by A.K. Paul. Enjoy FBI Radio. Lordy, lordy. What a dank track there, haven't we got, boys? A.K. Paul there with his track Land Cruisin' on FBI Radio 94.5 FM. Jordan, Tom and Robbie in the studio. Hey, got a couple of questions out there for you in the audience. The number to text in on was 0409 945 945. The questions, well, they were, how do you scam McDonald's? What song would you like for the end of the world? And what do you think about what's hipster inane shit? Is that it?
Probably shouldn't have said the yes word. But yes, and I think we'll cut back on that. That's enough texting on those matters. Yeah. We do have, I think, another 3 text-in subjects this week. if you're a long listener of the program, you would know that for weeks we've been trying to cut back the amount of text we have because we just realised that all we're doing is the same as what stoned friends do when they're just reading out comments in a YouTube video for most of this radio show. But this week we thought, screw it, why not?
Yeah.
So, we're saying what plays you out to the end of the world.
All right, okay.
And here's one we got sent in from Dank Memes, a popular Instagram page.
Far out. Come on, here we go.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, go.
I feel like no one can.
You do want a
unhappy.
sax killing you, don't you? Because it's cool, sad, epic, triumphant, meaningful.
Yeah.
All rolled into one magnificent instrument. I used to play sax in year 3.
Yeah, fantastic instrument.
Nice.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting one of Robbie's famous high fives live in the studio. That was the sound of flesh on flesh.
All right.
And what was the text about the Spy Kit Man?
Yeah, he said, or he or she said, it was an invisible ink pen, a pair of those glasses with the moustache and nose, and 2 walkie-talkies. I gave the pen to my brother, and he used it in his journal. I then found another spy pen and read his diary, classic spy's sibling. That is so quirky.
So those are things that were sent in via Scholastic that you bought. It's great. Yeah.
Really glad that you followed up with that touching anecdote.
So, Jordan, last week we did spooky stories, and you think you convinced me that ghosts are real or something strange is happening in the world, supernatural.
Think or know?
We showed you a scary photo, and you said, oh my God, I don't know what that is.
I didn't say, oh my God, I just said, I don't know what that is.
But
I'm pretty sure he just said, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we chose to take that as stumped, verbally stumped.
It was a picture of a child had drawn of his family or her family and a little black figure that was the taking away person or something like that. Anyway, ghosts. Are they real? Jordan has a scary story that he thinks will convince me, the skeptic, that it is.
Well, it was already mission accomplished last week. We're into overkill on this game. If this were a round on Red Faction, that sound would come up and the word butcher would emerge.
So this is a segment we like to call the supernatural, the unexplained.
You can't explain this one, Tom. You cannot explain it because I can't explain it, and I have a well-aware cognitive bias to believing in ghosts.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so a guy on a podcast that I wasn't even listening to. In fact, I don't even think he's told this on his podcast, so sucked into him. We're going to broadcast this to 50,000 people before they can even look at it. But if you want to listen to this story rehashed again, you can look up The Graduates.
Okay.
I assume they're good. He, just like you, Tom, huge skeptic of anything remotely paranormal. Somebody was sending through letters written, obviously, by somebody who's barely literate on a computer because it was in Times New Roman, and then when it said, do you believe? The only difference was it was in bold. That's pretty... That's like your A, B, C, D, E, F, G kindergartner level on computing, right?
So someone sent him a letter in Times New Roman saying, do you believe?
Right.
Okay.
But was obviously sending it to everybody in the mail. He was clearly somebody in his 50s and had the same business model you have when your fish breeds some little small baby fish, and then you just send it around going, I'm selling goldfish for $1, and you get no responses. So he got the text number, texted this guy and said, what you're doing is taking advantage of people. Pretty much just repeated what they said on South Park, word for word. You're taking advantage of people who have lost someone and are looking for solace. What you're doing is wrong. It's exploitative. Either that or you're stupid. Those are only 2 options, but just know you're wrong.
So like a John Edwards type texted him and he just responded saying like, don't be a fraud, basically.
The gist of it, yeah, there was a letter in the mail as opposed to texting, but 80% accurate. He then, the John Edwards-like character, texted back to him saying, well, if you don't believe, please disregard this number and don't contact me then. Let's just leave this to those that do.
Right.
Later on, he was, because he also writes musicals, very talented in that way, was trying to find the right chord for a song that he was writing. That guy texted him during the moment when he was sitting there going, I don't know what to do this. The guy texted him with B flat.
The supernatural, the unexplained.
Oh, my Lord.
Remember, this is a guy that's an atheist just like you. He's a believer now.
He's a believer.
I assume. That was where the story ended. That's all I know about it. But you can only guess from something like that happening, just being that guy on the Discovery Channel that clearly doesn't have any attention in his life. He's in his 40s. He's realised, crap, I'm not a famous tap dancer. I need to get some kind of claim to fame. Yeah, an alien abducted me, just probed around. It was terrifying.
It's just a PR thing to get his musical off the ground.
And it worked.
Yeah.
That's how publicity works, folks. You don't in an overcrowded market go to a radio station and say, oh, guys, I've got this this cover of this song that sounds kind of like Bulletproof. Do you want to play that for us? No. Tell us that a ghost, perved on you in the shower. Then we'll talk about you.
So, listen out for the B flat. It's a spooky... That's a spooky one, that one. I didn't think of that. A ghost did.
Yeah, right. Well, you're trying to act hard, aren't you? But we can see in your eyes that there's a little bit of a flicker
of fear.
A little bit of fear. Hey, we can laugh about it all we want, but that's the reality, isn't it, Tom? We're seeing a little bit of fear in those eyes.
Yeah, do you believe?
No, I don't believe.
Well, what happened then?
Because this is so many times removed. You're hearing this from a friend of yours, from a friend of theirs, who... It's just... What is it even saying? What do
you mean, what does it even say?
B
it's
flat.
saying B flat.
Yeah, well, what's that supposed to mean? Why is it ghost telling
Are you
him?
that musically illiterate, Tom?
It's a note, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's a note, dude.
Yeah, why is the ghost trying to help him with his musical? And why is it a ghost?
It's his dead grandma or somebody. I don't know if his grandma's dead. His dead great-grandmother. Some spirit was talking to this medium and telling him that the note that you need is a B flat.
Right. Oh, there you go, I guess. I don't know what to say. It's just...
Exactly. Yeah. You don't know what to say. Robbie, cue the music.
Okay.
I suppose I believe.
And that's it.
We've got it. Confirmation. We are going to be playing that. You're a sucker, aren't you,
It's
Tom?
not particularly spooky, though, to me. That
getting a text from a ghost.
No, I never said it was going to be spooky. Just a quick little director's commentary and behind the scenes. I said, actually, this isn't that spooky. And Robbie said, no, the title's too good. We're just going to keep it. It's like, we're going to sell this as a spooky story.
I guess it is unexplained. I'd like to hear it from him, though.
And it is supernatural. It keeps with all of it. It was just in your head that it's spooky.
Yeah.
I think you're a bit frazzled because you're a believer now. That's a huge jump.
Yeah, it's a big change, isn't it?
I guess, I don't know. Sorry, you go.
Especially seeing as he's wearing a shirt that says, am I in earth, heaven or hell? Used to be poetic before. Now he's actually just wigging out.
Yeah, unsure which.
And also wearing a cap that says UK TV. You would imagine that a lot of conspiracy theorists would have these general commercial caps that you get for free from huge media brands like the Today Show or The Block.
I'm a little bit... You know what? I'm scared at the moment now because I haven't seen a text from Dunks and I'm getting a little bit worried as to his safety. Dunks, if you've got a scary ghost story, we'd love you to either call in with it or come into the studio at some point. Don't you think that'd be good?
Yeah,
we're
really
calling you out,
unexplained.
Dunks. We still are yet to believe, because your texts are always so perfect, are you a human being or are you a prototype robot that is programmed to make slam dunks texts?
All right, call in Dunks, please. The number's 833-22-999. Hey, why don't we listen to a song now, guys?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we're on FBI Radio 94.5 FM. This one's called Hell of a Lot by Shining Bird. Stick around, we've got lots of spicy segments coming up.
I didn't want to listen to a song.
Hello there, everybody. You got it tuned to FBI Radio 94.5 FM. That was the song Hell of a Lot by Shining Bird. Jordan, Tom and Robbie in the studio. Tom.
So we're playing Fair Enough, which is a game that we play every week where one of us will be the judge and the other two have things that have happened to them in their life or, recently where something's happened and you think it's fair enough that you felt the way you did about it, and the judge has to determine whether or not that it's a fair fear, like that your interpretation of it was fair.
And much like the proposed Trans-Pacific Partnerships Corporate Tribunal, the judges switch from being prosecution attorneys to being the judge every week. It's on rotation. We have learnt from a process of elimination that Tom seems to be tough but fair, Robbie seems to be completely unfair, and I'm tough but tough. And guess which one you've drawn this week, boys? That's right. The one that if this were the Japanese Iron Chef show would have the red chef hat on. Tough but tough.
So Jordan is the judge. And Robbie, do you have a story? Fair enough?
Actually, I'm not sure if I do, so you go.
Oh, okay.
And Robbie will try and scatter something out of the recesses of his mind in about 2 minutes of thinking time while also listening to someone speaking. Should be interesting.
So, yesterday I was in Coles and I was...
Can I just stop you there? Look at Robbie's face at the moment.
Hand over his mouth, shocked that he's lost for words.
Just trying to think.
Yeah, you clearly are.
Yeah.
Trying to think plus terrified. Anyway, Tom, go on with your nice, cruisy, happy story for everybody out there.
Okay, so I'm in Coles and my girlfriend has asked me to buy some lasagna for her. So I'm looking for a single serving of lasagna.
What, your McCain's instant dinner?
Yeah, like your Coles brand, like heated up
Not even
lasagna.
McCain's. Coles brand rip-off.
Turns out she wanted the McCain or the better one. I didn't know that. I got the Coles one. Anyway, besides the point, I was looking for a single serving. I was looking for a single serving
to
of
save a
lasagna.
cent.
And I got it out of the fridge and I'm holding it in my hand thinking you found the thing you need to buy. And then out of nowhere, this very obese man, just very nice man, but very obese, interrupts
Jolly,
me.
if you will.
Yeah, interrupts me and goes like, "Hey mate, could I just give you a tip?" He's like, "If you buy the serves 4 lasagna and get a hot knife and cut it into 4 segments, you can cook one and then have 3 left." And I thought, thank you for the most well-known piece of information there is. But the thing I was thinking that is fair enough is the thought came to my head that I don't believe that he does that himself. I think he probably buys the 4 lasagnas and eats the 4 lasagnas.
Yeah, you think he's your classic Huey from Huey's Cooking Adventures. All the other TV chefs share what they cook with the camera crew. Huey eats it all. Because
those things are quite small. There's no way you're eating a one-person serving of lasagna. Like, I wouldn't do it. And just, do you think it's fair? It's like, it is a bit judging someone by, how they appear. But do you think it's a fair thing?
Yeah, you're judging a book by its very, very thick cover.
Yeah, like, it seemed like an excuse that he was throwing over to me, saying, like, just get the 4, man. It's much smarter. Just trying to get me to also eat a 4 serving of lasagna because he knows he would eat the 4 and he feels sad that he doesn't.
So you think he was trying to fatten you up to eat you?
In simple terms, yes.
I will say before...
I'm just going to give this a preemptive judgment. Fair enough.
like fair enough that he did? Fair enough that he said that to you? Or
fair enough that I didn't believe that he would do what he was advising.
It's very convoluted, isn't it?
As in, I don't think he would have a single serving of lasagna if he bought the 4.
Okay. Do you understand that, Jordan?
Yes, I do. And I'm also the judge. You do not get to incite your judgment. You had your opportunity last week and you squandered it. You just made us feel awful.
I don't know.
For no reason.
No, that wasn't me.
We had very fair stories at that point. I thought that we'd get an easy pass. This was an open and shut case, but Robbie just threw the book at us willy-nilly.
Yeah, I think the goal of the other person is to try and cast doubt on the judge. So you trying to say it's not fair enough, or you just don't understand what I've said?
I was sort of thinking and hearing at the same time. So
what's your one, Robbie?
All right, we'll do my one, and then I'll sort of try and work out as I'm talking what you did. Somebody texted in saying, talk about your pony, so that's what I'm going to do, and I actually do have a story. Thank you, because I actually do have a story. I'm not sure if I've talked about it, though. You guys tell me midway through if I have.
Okay,
definitely will.
Okay, so I used to have a pony in England. It was called Dolly. I was riding it around.
Yeah, I've talked about that before.
But I was riding around a field, and we're doing a bit of a trot, and it got spooked by a car on the road or something. I didn't see a car, but it got spooked anyway.
Right, that was your horse's version of when Tom was told that dead bodies coming back and telling mediums to tell their grandsons to what chord they should be playing a song in.
Similar sense of fear.
Yeah. So
good to have that very quick verbal confirmation as he flicks over to the rest of his story.
Yeah. So and then the horse Dolly galloped towards my mum, who was helping me around the field at the time, and I was galloping towards it, and then I'd never galloped before, so it was very scary. And then when it got to my mum, I flew off the front and landed on the ground, and I was very sore, and I cried, and then some lady from the paddock, from the stables, came over and made me get back on the horse, and I didn't want to. And is it fair enough that she made me get back on the horse?
Firstly,
you go.
I really don't believe it galloped. Even though you're saying it did, I reckon it was a canter, and I don't think a pony at that point. I just think at your age, you couldn't handle a gallop.
It could have been a canter. Fair enough, it could have been a canter. But no, actually, I had cantered at the time. To be fair, I had cantered. It was scary, but I'd never gone this fast.
Right, so a very quick canter. Just think that's important.
All right, canter, gallop, whatever. I fell off the horse and somebody made me get back on. Fair enough?
Well, first of all, I think I need a little more background information onto this because it's also my job as a judge to get the facts right.
Yeah.
Do you personally think, now as a fully grown man-child, I'm reticent to say somebody who's wearing silly shirts that they get from Monster Truck shows, ironically, to be a man, but you are a man-child. Do you... I defend that as well. This is a court.
I do have a story as to how I became a man, which I'll talk about bit of sizzle for next week's show. I actually do have a story. Anyway, carry on. Yep.
Just 2 weeks late. We did talk about this a few weeks
No, I know, but I thought we'd have a week without it, and then we'll come back with a little bit of a throwback.
Even stronger.
Yeah, stronger.
So what's your question?
Okay,
sorry,
controversial, but do you think now as a man-child, was it fair that guy got you to get back on your horse? Do you think that he taught you something about how the world works? That it's not about the person who falls down; it's the one that gets back up after they fall down. Rocky Balboa 5.
I think. I think it was. I think it was fair enough that I was made to get back on.
Surely it's fair enough. Like, what would you have preferred if she was just like, no, let's not get him back on the horse.
He's had enough.
Ride it again.
Yeah, I think I've realised that story, actually, I think it's fair enough. But
we all think it's fair enough.
Okay, so this has changed from a court of law very quickly to just the tree of life pseudo-spiritual books that they have next to crystals. All right, so you had an awakening.
So you thought mine was fair enough. Is Tom's fair enough?
I think Tom's is fair enough, but I don't think yours is fair enough.
What?
Just to damn you. Pretty much just, this is payback. This is a very unfair system now that I think about it. It's just judges judging each other. Eventually there's going to be bad blood, and the whole show's going to be spoiled as a result.
Yeah.
Well, right now, sorry, we do need to get out of here. But this is a new segment that we started last week. It's called Shit Music on the Radio, and we'd love you to email in, send messages to the Friendlyjordies, Insta, whatever, Facebook, all this. We've got one from Age, who sent in. This is like a hardcore screamo group from like the late 2000s or something. They did a cover of Don't Trust Me, which is by 303. Sorry.
Do you have the message that they sent you?
Not here, but
okay,
sorry.
But it was something along the lines of these guys spent $3,000 on this song. Utter S word.
So yeah, these are the second nominee of the worst band in Sydney. So we're giving them some playtime, and enjoy it.
And then after this, you'll hear Stephen Goodhue with the playlist. He's got a couple of fresh trackaroos for you.
He'll be playing good music.
Yeah,
so if you're into good music, don't listen to the next song.
Yeah,
guy. He's not a collection of musical notes. He is a fully breathing, red-blooded man.
So yeah, this is Wings of Icarus. Don't Trust Me 303 cover, but this is Jordan, Tom and Robbie saying goodbye for this week. See you next week on Monday, midday.
See ya.
In the words of comic book guy, toodle-oo.